all getting redone this year. Nah, that's old. I told him not to put me in it when it first started. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. See if I can use this. I might not have to use the mic if y'all can hear me. Just make sure the audio is good on my end. If y'all can hear me, put a 1 on the chat. Or put a 1 inside the chat for me. All right. This will be more than just the 4 beasts of Daniel. It'll be an extensive, in-depth overview of his life as well. I can't just jump to chapter 7 without giving the historical background of how he received the visions, why he received it, and how his life began in the first place. Chronologically speaking, he's after the words of Ezekiel concerning Nebuchadnezzar besieging Jerusalem for their wickedness. So we're going to go over from the top how it started, where he is, how he obtained the visions and understandings and wisdoms, and everything else that comes along with his storyline up until when we get the interpretation and understanding of what the beasts actually are. So if you've been following the Ezekiel walkthrough, if you've been following the rest of the classes that are being brought out concerning the destruction of Babylon and Babylon destroying Tyre, so on and so forth, then it should be memorable to the ear. You should be able to catch on to the references that are going to be read. If you haven't, and this is all fresh, this is for the individuals who don't know who the 4 beasts of Daniel are, the great image, and the synopsis or abstract of Daniel's life in one class, right? So, Rock, let's take it from the top, Daniel's 1.
Daniel chapter 1 and verse 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it.
You have to remember, right, that there's a chapter that we went over in Ezekiel that gave account to this. Does anybody know the chapter? And there's also a record on paper, on biblical paper, the amount of individuals that was took from Jerusalem. Does anybody know? Roger, I thought I'm second.
Oh, first clue.
I'm second. 36.
Second Chronicles chapter 36 and verse 5.
Before he reads this is the account of what happened. And Ma'ar is going to precept from the words of Jeremiah. He was close, Quanah. Ma'ar is going to precept this very same time period. Remember, they're contemporary. So multiple prophets spoke on the rise and fall in Babylon and its besieging because of our disobedience. Go ahead, bro.
Second Chronicles 36 and verse 5. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he began to reign.
Yep.
And he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord.
Every time we do evil, the nations was always our beating stick. Because if the Most High himself put his hands on us, we wouldn't physically be here. So, to lessen the blow, he used a nation that would be counted as spittle, counted as nothing, even to this day. And use that particular nation as our beating stick countless of times. And if I could go into history briefly of how much times we've been in captivity, it's been almost 10 times, if I'm not mistaken. 10. So go ahead, Barak.
And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord his God.
Yep.
Against him came up Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and bound him in fetters to carry him to Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar also carried of the vessels of the house of the Lord to Babylon and put them in his temple at Babylon.
Now keep in mind the latter end of, or the beginning of verse 7. Maya, go ahead and read that.
This is Jeremiah chapter 52, verse 28. This is the people whom Nebuchadnezzar carried away captive. In the 7th year, 3,000 Jews and 320.
If y'all are going to precept anything, make sure you precept the historical recollective of the things you're speaking on. With the Old English that you read, make sure you are quick to explain the historical part of the things that you're trying to precept. Otherwise, to somebody in this present day, they don't know what you're talking about. If you cannot paint a picture to an individual while you're trying to wake them up or edify them in knowledge, it is important you give the historical recollective of what you're speaking on, or else you're going to lose the hearer. Go ahead, Maya.
Verse 29. In the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar, he carried away captive from Jerusalem 832 persons.
Mm-hmm.
In the 23rd year of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captain of the Jews 745 persons, and all the persons were 4,600.
Now, how much people, let's see if y'all paying attention, how much people was carried away captive in total? Brock, be quiet. Anybody in the chat could tell me, or inside the room, how much people was captive in this context and carried away?
I want to say 4,600.
Sean got it. 4,600 people. 4,600 people was carried away captive. Keep in mind, some of them were left. So out of the 4,600, out of that number, excluded from that number, some of these individuals were left. Some of these individuals that was carried away captive was killed. Right? Now jump back to Daniel so we understand the overview of what's being spoken on. Verse 2, Daniel 1, verse 2.
Daniel chapter 1 and verse 2. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his God, and he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God.
So he brought the Lord's vessels into the house of his God. Verse 3.
And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs.
Here's a little background story, right? Out of the 4,600 captives, the individuals that they captured, did y'all know that some of them were masters of their crafts? Some of them were warlike men. Some of them had abilities. And they knew who they was looking for when they grabbed them. That's why they left the weak-minded ones, or the individuals who wasn't really nothing to society or didn't really contribute to Jerusalem. He left them there. Did y'all know that? That's an account in Jeremiah. Go ahead.
That he should bring certain of the children of Israel and of the king's seed.
Certain of the children of Israel, which means he knew who he was looking for. Who had that same spirit? Christopher Columbus. Go ahead.
And of the king's seed and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science.
Stop. How did Nebuchadnezzar know that this particular people would have all of these things? Say it loud, Maya.
The enemy studies.
So out of the individuals that he captured, there's a bulk of individuals he knew, and to make sure that they had these qualities and characteristics. Keep reading, Brock.
And understanding science is such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning in the tongue of the Chaldeans.
Now, the Chaldean language, I'm going to show you guys in a PowerPoint, looks just like the Hebrew. Just like the Hebrew. Which is showing what? Barak?
The Chaldeans are Shemitic peoples. So Hebrew being similar to the sister languages all around, it shows how we would easily be able to be engrafted within other cultures.
Are they Cushites or Hamites? The Chaldeans?
They're descendants of Arphaxad, the son of Shem. They're Shemites.
I thought all of it was Cushites.
They're just ruled by them.
Keep reading.
Verse 5, and the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat, and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names, for he gave Daniel the name of Belshazzar, and to Hananiah of Shadrach, to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs.
Now, why was he found favor and love unto God? Who also had this spirit?
David.
Say it again loud.
Eliezer.
Y'all know the story of Eleazar? Y'all remember the story of Eleazar? Eleazar refused the king's meat and died. He was an old man. And Daniel, in similarity, in context, is refusing the king's meat. He's willing to die behind the law, statutes, and commandments that God implemented before. Because remember, around this time, Daniel is in his teen years. He's a young man. And even the young men had heart. Go ahead.
Verse 10, and the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sort? Then shall you make me endanger my head to the king. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink.
Stop. What is wrong with wine and meat?
Like combining them or
Indulging them. In context, what's wrong with it?
context of this?
It's like gifting.
Chat, what is wrong with indulging in meat and wine in this context? Just tap out of your biblical minds for a second, even though what I'm about to explain is biblical. What happens when you eat an overly excessive amount of meat? Sluggish, what else? Lazy, what else? Your countenance changes. There's cases where, well, let's automatically presume that the king's meat isn't anything other than pig
Unclean animal.
or unclean meats. Not only do you get sluggish, slothful, so on and so forth, but you pick up the same antibodies and probodies that the animal has within itself. And you ultimately and possibly could look and become the animal. That's why that "you are what you eat" phrase is there. Because you could almost literally become "you are what you eat." And the over excessiveness of meats in context to the precept of that. And it's not balanced with vegetables. But now what's the problem with wine? You know, the over excessiveness of it leads to what? Being a drunkard and staying mentally sober and vigilant. You have it? Before Brock pauses, did you know that an overly excessive drinker of wine and alcohol, especially in this day and age, and even back then, did you know that it could cause cancer?
Yeah, definitely.
Liver problems. Your body has the ability to repair something, though. But if you keep damaging it, it's going to alter its once repairing into immediate damage onto other areas. Because it doesn't just start and stop in the liver. Go ahead, Brock.
Sirach chapter 31 and verse 27. Wine is as good as life to a man if it be drunk moderately.
If what?
If it be drunk moderately. What life is then to a man that is without wine? For it was made to make men glad.
Now, wine promotes heart health, red blood cells, so on and so forth. But if and when it's drunk in over excessiveness, it becomes a problem. Because in this day and age, it's not even being fermented correctly. And the wine bottles we are to drink in this day and age cost at least $100. The wines that you want to be drinking cost at least $100, and the bottles is like this big. Not the $12 red barefoot and pink Moscato I catch y'all drinking. Those are thought juices. Brock, go back to Daniels.
Daniel chapter 1 and verse 12. Prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our countenances be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat, and as thou seest, deal with thy servants. So he consented to them in this matter and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their countenances appeared fair and fatter, and flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. Then Melzar took away the portion of their meat, and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. As for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams.
Because he was the forefront of being that sacrifice, of being the example. And the young men followed right after him, particularly those 3 individuals right after him. Go ahead.
Now at the end of days that the king had said he should bring them in, the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar, and the king communed with them, and among them was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king.
Keep in mind, this is the king of Babylon. He's in captivity. They're in captivity. And when he inquired of them, he had the ability to make peace amongst his enemy. This is the king of Babylonian. He just got done besieging his homeland. And in any instance, he had the opportunity to wild out on him. Call him a fox in the desert, rebuke him. But he used wisdom and knowledge and understanding to be peaceful right in front of his enemy. That's called communicative engaging. And then be an example to the men who followed after him. Daniel was only a young man in his time period. A young man. Go ahead, Rob.
And in all matters of wisdom and understanding, that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better.
How much?
10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm.
Look what these goofies practice. Magicians, astrologers. All that's times past, and here we have today, our people practicing that. We didn't practice that goofiness
In captivity.
while they're in captivity. They didn't know the end of what they was going to receive, but they still played by the Most High side and received what they retained as far as knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and they maneuvered in it while being in captivity. We have a nation of people that sit here and think they're magicians, astrologers, and everything else, putting their belief in anything else but the Most High. And look what these men are capable of doing with the faith that they had being young men. Young men. Go ahead.
This is Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 6. Then said I, Ah, Lord God, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. Verse 7. But the Lord said unto me, Say not I am a child, for thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. Be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee, saith the Lord.
That's why these men found favor, these young men, because even in their youth, they still found favor in the Lord's sight. With the little bit of doubt that they had, they girded up their loins mentally and spiritually and kept moving forward and rolled with the punches. We're going to read it. Verse 21 specifically.
Verse 21. And Daniel continued even unto the first year of King Cyrus.
This is a foreshadowing of understanding why he reigned and continued even until the first year of King Cyrus. Even in this saying that, this is only proving that after Cyrus passed, Daniel couldn't have been alive. Okay. I'm gonna start this now and say, well, let me ask you guys, how much are you guys familiar with Darius? In the chat, how much are you guys familiar with Darius and Daniel? Do you guys know who this Darius is in Daniel? Because we're going to read about Darius and Cyrus.
That's in chapter 9. Right?
7, 6, and 7, and 5.
Was he the king of? Was he the king of Persia?
I'll take that.
Siege the Medes, right? Yeah, that's what I said. No, we were talking about.
He said the movie 300. How about y'all? I'll give it to you after class. He was a king after Cyrus. He was a king after. Okay, Banawat said he was a king after Cyrus. Everybody else? Anybody else? I'm gonna break something down because it's a very large misconception of history.
What school was down here?
King of Persia. Okay. Yeah.
What books was he reading? You know, Daniel. Reading Jeremiah. He's reading. That's what I just said.
Okay.
It's only had the scroll.
So, go ahead. Start at chapter 2.
Daniel chapter 2 and verse 1. In the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar.
Stop. Could you pull that PowerPoint up, please? So that we understand where he is geographically speaking. Next slide, sir. I'm going to go into the table of contents now that we're here. So we have the geographical location of Daniel, which I'm about to show you guys. And y'all better have a precept immediately come to your mind when I show you exactly where he is. We have the great image that we will be discussing, and the lion, the bear, the leopard, and the beast. Another question I have for you guys. Is that beast the same beast in Revelation 13? Kaz, you said yeah? Yeah. It's a trick question. Chat, is that beast the same beast in Revelations?
Man, blessed with provisions, right?
Okay.
Foreseeing.
I'm not sure.
This is Daniel visions. He saw past.
They just saw everything.
Yeah.
I gotta read through.
Different.
I gotta read into the video.
Saw everything.
Joseph, Daniel.
Not sure.
Respectfully.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. All y'all said yeah, right?
Different.
I see it.
You woke up like,
It's the same, but it's not.
Revelations is a foreshadowing of Old Testament prophecy anyhow. Most of it's pretty separate from prophecy.
Anybody else want to give a stat? Everybody on this side said yes. Because all you're not sure. When you guys read from this day forward, please pay attention to every single word. I'm going to show y'all something. Because y'all are right and y'all are wrong. It's not the same beast. The beast in Revelation had 7 heads. The beast in Daniel had 1 head. Same mentality of the beast, characteristics, ideologies of the beast. Different times of captivity. So I'll give y'all half a point. Go ahead, Brock.
Daniel chapter 2 and verse 1. And in the reign of the second year, and in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. And the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king.
What's wrong with this picture right here? Who did he just commune with? He just finished talking to Daniel, and he found Daniel and his companions 10 times better than all the people of his realm. Keep reading, bro.
And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream.
So he's having poor interpretations of the dream, and he called his astrologers, magicians, sorcerers. I'm assuming daily prognosticators. Something like this time period.
Mm-hmm.
What do they have today now? They have doomsday clock. They have RT News, many multiple news outlets gearing up for World War III and so on and so forth to be a representation of things to come, but they don't know exactly what's happening in front of them. See the similarities? So we're going to jump all the way to the point of where Daniel speaks to the captain of the king's guard, right? Give me verse 13. So the king is wroth right now. To keep you guys up to speed, the king is wroth that his own individuals cannot interpret the dream. So now he sent a decree out to kill Daniel and his companions after he just got them speaking to him and finding him 10 times better than everybody else amongst his home land, and as well as the people. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain.
All wise men in Babylon is to be slain. After this, after the fact that he couldn't find out the interpretation of the dream. Go ahead.
And they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch the captain.
He answered with what?
With counsel and wisdom to Arioch the captain of the king's guard.
I gotta know how to maneuver through captivity. Because he makes it look easy, sound easy, and it is if you apply it the right way. God gave you all the tools to maneuver through captivity easily. We as individuals make it difficult. Go ahead.
He answered and said to Arioch the king's captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king? Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael and Azariah, his companions.
The Lord gave him something that would be an aid to life later on, while he's in captivity. Y'all tell me what those are? Knowledge and skill. It gives you the wherewithal and then the right way to go about executing it. He talked to Nebuchadnezzar right in front of his face. He talked to the captain of the king's guard. So he's maneuvering the right way to make sure everything he does is according to his power and not out of his personal emotions.
Yeah, you can correlate that with modern day. What Yashiyah is saying is very heavy. You know, in this captivity, we got to learn how to maneuver, especially when I'll give a good example. When you see police officers, especially concerning police officers and Israelites, that don't mix well because we feel the need to mouth off a police officer instead of just using wisdom and agreeing at that moment and just moving past them or just, going about your day. So it's very wise to use certain wisdom in this land before, you get thrown to the jailhouses or something bad might happen to you.
A lot of mistakes we make on our own end because we're presumptuous about the outcome of it, and it has yet to happen. That's a mental disorder. It's called cognitive distortion. When you are presumptuous about a situation that has yet to happen or yet to occur right in front of you, whether you run into police, so on and so forth, just off of your physical embodiment and emotions in any situation, that could go completely smoother than what you're mentally rehearsing. The opposing side could feel that and then take it there with you because you're already in that mode.
Right.
This is what you want to be like. Go ahead, bro. Verse 18.
Verse 18, that they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning the secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then the secret was the secret revealed unto Daniel in the night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings.
Mm-hmm.
He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things.
Mm-hmm.
He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. I thank thee and praise thee, O thou God of my fathers, who has given me wisdom and might, and hast made known unto me now what we desired of thee. For now hast thou now made known unto us the king's matter.
Made them prayers up. Sent them prayers up. Didn't care where he was or who he was in front of. Because ultimately, his life is in the Most High's hands. And the Most High preserved him. Go ahead.
Therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He said thus unto him, Destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation. Then Arioch,
I don't know if Nebuchadnezzar has short-term memory or if he's goofy. Both. Go ahead.
Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man among the captives of Judah.
He's previewing him like he forgot about Daniel. Y'all understand that? Go ahead.
That will make known unto the king the interpretation. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, Art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, The secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king. But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets, and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what they shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, what should come to pass hereafter, and he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living thing. But
Say that again.
But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living thing.
That's a boy. That's a gunshot. Keep reading, man. Keep reading.
But for their sakes, thou shalt make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image.
Now stop. I'll pull that PowerPoint up so I can show them the class where we are geographically and the image that we're about to get into. I want to beautifully emphasize that the Most High is the most, his words can't express his genius. And I'm explaining to you why. Next slide, Abednego, if you could. And zoom in, because I want them to see where we're at. And who our beloved King David was speaking about. If you guys can see, right? Babylon by the Euphrates River. If you see the bulletin Babylon right there, what's by that bulletin of Babylon? What body of water is that? No, it's a river. It's right there. I see the pointer. See where Barack got the pointer at? It's your Bar River.
Oh, by what?
This river.
Oh, God.
You remember when Psalms said, when Psalms King David said, "By the rivers of Babylon, there we wept."
137.
When they took our belongings, instruments. We just read that the Most High's vessels was took out of the Lord's house and brought it to Nebuchadnezzar's God's house. So in the multiple offenses of the story that we're reading so far, I can count that Nebuchadnezzar offended the Most High quite a few times after being the beating stick. So now, what precept comes to mind? Next slide, Abaya. What precept comes to mind when Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom gets numbered? Y'all probably not gonna get it. If I say it, then y'all gonna get it. Judged.
David did that. David numbered the army.
It's in the Apocrypha.
Oh,
The Most High's judgment is like a what?
A rain.
So after he punishes us, who does he punish next? Y'all see it now.
Mm.
That is the image of the beast. Now let's read the image of the beast. You can keep that up, Akhlaq. We're gonna read. Go ahead.
Daniel chapter 2 and verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. The image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces.
Now stop. I studied the periodic table of elements, and I found something very interesting in the periodic table of elements. Y'all want to know something about metals? Do y'all know that metals have the ability to alloy? Y'all know what alloy is?
Form together. Like cheap gold has copper, aluminum.
Say it loud.
Cheap gold has copper, zinc, like less fine material than pure gold does. Like, that's why pure gold is more valuable, because it's purged out of impurity.
Silver too. It's bronze, silver. Almost interchangeable to an extent, and each of them carry a specific amount inside one another.
Yeah, that's fine.
The periodic table elements cannot exist without them being niched with one another. So in some way, shape, or form, under each category, they're alloyed with one another.
Mm-hmm.
How ironic, there's a picture of a statue in the same image or same depiction of them being alloyed with one another. You want to know why? What is this a reference to?
I want to shoot.
Shoot it. What is this a reference to after I just explained the metals having the ability to be alloyed amongst one another? I'll say it later because we're going to get to it later. Read verse 34 again.
Verse 34, thou sawest so that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them in pieces.
What stone is that, y'all? What stone is that? Alloyed, Alloyed. What stone is that? Abayat got it. We're going to get into it, but Abayat got it. Psalms 83 wouldn't exist without the statue, y'all. But that's not the bigger point that I'm gonna get to later. What stone is that? Brock, go ahead. It's literally, I'm assuming everybody watch Boondocks, right? What is the first lyrics of the song? Of the intro? I am the stone that the builder refused. Who's the stone? Come on. Now give me the precept.
This is Psalm chapter 118 and verse 22.
Start at verse 10. I read that almost. Lost my shit.
Verse 10. All nations compass me about, but in the name of the Lord will I destroy them.
Now go back to what's it called? 22.
Verse 22. The stone which the builders refused is become the head stone of the corner.
How David know that? Go ahead. I got that second one. Go ahead.
Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 20. And are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yahweh Meshach himself being the chief cornerstone.
Give me one more. 1 Peter 2 and 4. Precept your Bible. Precept your Bible. This is who the stone is.
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4.
Nice and slow.
To whom coming? To whom coming? As unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of God and precious.
Now, do y'all know who that stone is now? There we go, Banawad. There we go. But guess who he was chosen of? So above all Jews, he was chosen of one man that's above everybody, which is the Father. Give me now jump back to Daniel.
Daniel chapter 2 and verse 35. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors.
Now, that is an example of, y'all know what threshing floors are, right? Summer threshing floors when it's pretty much dust. Remember we did the example of Ezekiel of Tyre being destroyed and a timberweed falling. It's basically speaking on the imagery of it being destroyed and it being like fine dust. Go ahead.
And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth.
Now, oh, you ready already? Go ahead.
Verse 36. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power and strength and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and he hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold.
So now Daniel's telling them that he is the head of gold. Go ahead.
And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth.
Yep.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of the potter's clay and part of iron, The kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with the miry clay.
There is a time period where this happened. I'm going to tell y'all soon. Go ahead.
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
This is the last part of that particular kingdom that we're in right now. And then it was speaking on a specific people. Go ahead.
And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay.
Go ahead.
Verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 24.
First Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 24.
So y'all know who this is. Go ahead.
Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom of God, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power.
That's right. Go ahead.
For he must reign till he hath put all enemies under his feet.
Until he what?
Till he hath put all enemies under his feet.
Keep going.
The last enemy that shall be defeated, that shall be destroyed, is death.
Who's that?
Esau.
Esau?
What, death?
No. Who's he speaking about?
Oh, yeah, how was I thought it was going to
Now get back to Daniel.
death personified.
Daniel chapter 2 and verse 45. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure.
Mm-hmm.
Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel.
Come on, man. I want y'all to remember these sentiments. Worshiping Daniel, acknowledging him that he's 10 times smarter and greater, and his companions also are 10 times greater than astrologers, magicians, sorcerers, so on and so forth. Right? Go ahead.
And commanded that they should offer an oblation and the sweet odors unto him. The king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth it is that your God is a God of gods.
Let me emphasize he's in captivity. He's in captivity. Go ahead. This is physical slavery. The conditions of that time, physically, is harder than this time. Mentally, it is much more difficult in this time. However, it's not, because Yahweh liberated us all. It's only difficult if you believe that it's difficult, because this man right here is a blueprint on how you're supposed to live in this very current time. This man seen the visions of captivities. It's physically enduring the captivity, and is with his companions through thick and thin while believing in Christ. Brock, jump back to, you're gonna be my favorite. Jump back to Psalms 110 real quick. Hold on. Let's see what our beloved King David said. Psalms 110, believe it's verse. We read the Bible, we precept it, but there's not too much talk about the authenticity of these men.
Who did that? That's not my.
Not 110, I'm sorry. Give me Psalms 118, verse 6.
Psalm chapter 118 and verse 6. The Lord is on my
I
side.
just want that part. Could anybody come against y'all when the Lord's on your side? It's time to act like it. Keep reading it.
The Lord is on my side. I will not fear. What can man do unto me?
What?
What could man do unto me?
This attitude needs to be adopted and practiced and executed. Remember this precept. Emotionally indulge in this precept and mentally and physically indulge in this precept. Because this attitude gets you very far. There's humility in this. However, it's boastfulness and the glory of the Father. Go back to Daniel, bro.
Daniel chapter 2 and verse 47. The king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth it is that your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings.
See, you give him reference and honor, glory. Go ahead.
And the revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. Then the king made Daniel a great man, and gave him many great gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon.
So yeah, he should have been that. Go ahead.
Then Daniel requested of the king,
And even in his, y'all understand the rulership he just received? And he asked that he put his companions on too. Go ahead.
Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon, but Daniel sat in the gate of the king.
Now, he put him and his family on, pretty much, yeah, his family on. And Nebuchadnezzar just went through a praise of giving God glory, our God glory, Daniel glory, falling on his face, acknowledging God and his power. Brock, read the very next verse.
Daniel chapter 3 and verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold.
He what?
Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold,
Make your mind up, bro. Go ahead.
whose height was 80 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits, and he set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces
God damn.
to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up, and they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth the same, and whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
Now, go to we have verse 7, right?
Yep.
Go to verse 8.
Verse 8, wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews.
Go ahead.
And spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image.
Jump to verse 12.
Verse 12, there are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon.
Now, even if it was true, we clearly know who the accuser of the brethren is. You can't make this up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach,
They made sure they knew who they were talking about. Go ahead.
and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
You know why they tried to set those three up instead of Daniel up? Remember, Daniel has more authority above these men that they're trying to accuse him of. So Daniel could get them killed. So get individuals at somewhat of an equal rank as you that are Jews. In my position, in my kingdom, they're already gritting their teeth at the fact that they was told or they heard that they're smarter than them, and they couldn't interpret the king's dreams. How you think they're gonna feel? Same sentiments they had when we was in the garden. They see you, your glory. They've watched you for a very long time. And even in the shortest time span, this time period, they watched you. Enough to be like, nah, we got to get them. We can't get Daniel. Let's get them. Go ahead.
Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do you not serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if you be ready at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if you worship not, you shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands?
So he talking shit. I'm going to presume that he must have forgot who the God of Israel was. His memory is very short. Go ahead.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter.
We're not careful to answer. We're going to tell you blunt just as much as those individuals in the Maccabean period told that very same thing. We're going to stand on our power. We're going to die behind it. Go ahead.
If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods.
Oh my God. Go ahead.
Nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
Them same men was willing to die behind what they stood on. That's the type of men you ought to be. We all ought to be. Look the king in his face and said, we're not going to answer this carefully. Said, we're not going to serve your gods. Go ahead.
Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated.
Damn.
Cooking.
Go ahead.
He commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Mm-hmm. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did we not cast 3 men bound?
Did we not cast 3 men bound into? Go ahead.
Did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt.
Semicolon. Semicolon. Go ahead, bro.
And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God.
Who?
And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God.
Christ everywhere. Christ everywhere. Go ahead.
Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their head singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who had sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God.
You know, Esau just as flip floppy as this. You see that in today's time, excuse me. It hasn't changed. The same sentiments of back then are here now. Go ahead.
Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their house shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort.
Right.
Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon.
Now, you see them blessing these three individuals and the Most High Power again, right? Chapter 4, all the way to the point of when he turned into a beast, is him acknowledging and a synopsis of the Most High's judgment on him. And it's a pretty much a recollective overview of what happened to him from the beginning of him interpreting or trying to figure out what the dreams were, all up to the point of the time of his death. The Most High turned him into a beast in his end.
That's why you're short-term memory.
Mm-hmm. So now we're going to jump to chapter 5.
Daniel chapter 5, verse 1. Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords.
Do y'all know who Belshazzar is?
Is it one of the three? Was it one of the three?
Genealogy speaking, do y'all know who this is?
Son of Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father, Nebuchadnezzar, had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem.
Oh,
That the king and his princes, and his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple, out of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem, and the king, and his princes, and his wives, and his concubines drank in them.
you drunk. You put your filthy lips on the Most High's vessels. Go ahead.
They drank wine and praised the gods of gold,
Oh my gosh.
and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone.
Why are you praising the metal rather than go ahead.
Then the king's countenance, verse 5, in the same hour came forth
That
fingers.
same hour. I don't know how fast. That same hour. Go ahead.
In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand,
You know how scary that is?
and wrote over the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace, and the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one against another.
He's not. Started trembling. Go ahead.
The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers.
So clearly he don't got no history of his father's life and what he endured. Don't worry. Go ahead.
And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof, and shall be clothed with scarlet, and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom.
You about to get packed up, and that's all you could give to the man? That's his reward for the destruction of what's to come. Materialism. Not repentance. Not, you know what? Let me give the children of Israel back. Let me give the vessels. Let me put those back into the house of God. None of that was considered. A chain around a man's neck and being clothed in scarlet was a prize. At least the Father gave Daniel and his companions promises and leadership roles. You get scarlet and a gold chain. So clearly his son, keep reading. Keep reading.
Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was the king Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed to him, and his lords were astonished. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house, and the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom, in whom there is a spirit of the holy gods, and in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, it was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar thy father, the king I say, thy father made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. For as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams, and showing of hard sentences, and dissolving of doubts were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation.
Jump to verse 16.
Verse 16, I have heard of thee that thou canst make interpretations and dissolve doubts. Now if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed in scarlet and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and shalt be third ruler in the kingdom.
Verse 17, read what Daniel said.
Then Daniel answered and said before the king, let thy gifts be to thyself.
Say it again.
Let thy gifts be to thyself.
Keep that to yourself. Materialism isn't worth much when you got the power of the Lord on your side. You do all things and receive all things within him. Your victuals that are cheap are nothing. Go ahead.
And give thy rewards to another, yet I will read the writing unto the king and make known to him the interpretation.
Right.
O thou king, the Most High God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor.
So now he's running down his father's glory and honor, because obviously the son wasn't aware. So now he's running down to him his life up until the point of where he explains to him the writing on the wall. Go ahead.
And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him, whom he would slew, and whom he would keep alive, and whom he had kept alive, and whom he would set up, and whom he would put down. But when his heart was lifted up and his mind hardened in pride, he was deposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him.
That's a very tough word. Deposed. Go ahead.
And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beast.
Literally.
And his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men.
That's insane. Y'all ever seen the movie Split, where the guy got multiple personalities? Most High could do that to a man and make you like a beast. Make you think you eat grass. That's insane. And punished him in his latter days. Go ahead.
So he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointeth it over it whosoever he will. And thou, his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this, but hast lifted
Hold
up.
on. He knew all of this. I was under the presumption that he didn't know all this. So he got short-term memory problems too. Go ahead.
But hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives and thy concubines, have drunk wine in them, and thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know.
Right.
And the God in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified.
Right.
Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Mene, tekel, upharsin.
Mm-hmm.
This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it.
That's tough.
Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting.
All because you was trying to get cute and have some drinks. You don't touch the Most High's vessels, man. It was going to get numbered already, but you kind of sped up the process touching what belonged to him and tainted it with your filthy lips and hands. And then all in the while, you did the thing that he hated the most. Idolatry. Go ahead.
Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet, and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. That night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain.
And that same night, he was slain. That's scary. Y'all remember when the Most High said to trying to remember off the top of my head the story where he said, "Thine soul I require at this night." That's very scary. You have plans in the near future, and he wants you right then and there. You imagine how you gonna go? Just keep reading.
And that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain, and Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old.
Chapter 6.
Daniel chapter 6 and verse 1. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 provinces, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was the first, that the princes might give account unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm.
Hey, let me ask y'all a question in the chat. What Darius is this? What Darius is this?
Darius the Mede, not a great.
You wouldn't have got that if he didn't write that.
Probably.
Which Darius is this, chat? Which Darius is this?
I don't know if that's right.
You talking about Darius,
Context right here.
You don't know? That's okay.
Darius the Mede.
Said the third, Artaxerxes. The second. You said the second. Anybody else? Darius is this? King of Persia. Okay. Second. Okay. All right. I'll keep that in mind. Go ahead, bro.
Daniel chapter 6 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the whole king thought to set him over the whole realm. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him.
Now, by what's the word I'm looking for?
default.
No. We're considered African Americans, right? Under the term, under his captivity name, right? Let's see where I was going with this. Read it again so I can remember my train of thought.
Then the presidents and princes.
Oh, under his captivity name, right? Where does this twofold into? Remember the sentiments of the individuals. Read it again. Verse 4 again.
Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel.
Oh, yeah, you're getting hot. Go ahead.
Concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or faults found in him.
Who had these same sentiments? Ansha?
Christ.
Who was the people against Christ?
Pharisees.
Aaron.
Herod.
Yeah, it was many Aaron.
I want y'all to keep that in mind. By captivity name, geographically speaking, he's a captive, but he has province, right? Christ was deemed as the savior. He was an aid to individuals during what? Captivity. These same sentiments are repeated during what?
Roman.
Say it loud.
Roman.
During the Roman times. I want y'all to remember. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God.
Go ahead.
Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, and said thus unto him, King Darius live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors, the princes, the counselors, and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions.
Go ahead.
Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed, according to the law.
Yo, don't this sound familiar? We ain't gonna pull it yet, but don't this sound familiar? And ironically enough, by vision prophecy, what number captivity is this? The second. Everything's in twos, right, y'all? Follow. Go ahead.
Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not.
Y'all remember what they did with Pontius Pilate, right? Shall we not say that you are a follower of this man? Go ahead.
Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day, and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he did aforetime. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God.
What happened to Christ right before he was took away? He what, Cassandra?
He prayed 3 times.
Thrice.
Did y'all hear what Cassandra said, chat?
That's speed dial.
Different.
Well, he did.
Just making sure y'all following. Go ahead, Barack. As I'm reading this with y'all, all this is hitting me. Like it's just hitting me. Go ahead.
Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king?
I don't think y'all understand how accurate this same behavior was when it was pressing Pontius Pilate. Before the order of execution.
Right.
Go ahead.
Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and he set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king, and said unto the king, Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is, that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. And the king commanded, and they brought Daniel, and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And the stone was brought, and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet, and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting, neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning, and went in haste unto the den of lions.
You know why? Boy, get cold sweats, can't sleep, musical instruments. You know, certain hurts, kind of side topic related to the point. Certain music and ambience music you listen to puts you to sleep. It's healing. All that was stripped from him. And even if it was played, he still couldn't sleep. Because you know what he did was wrong. One more time. Who had these sentiments?
So
Saul, who else? Put Darius' shoes inside of another person who authorized something.
Judas.
Judas, loud.
Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilate.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Y'all remember Pontius Pilate's sentiments after he did what he did?
Yep.
all right.
This blood, man's blood.
He kept trying to please with Christ.
And the people after. Truthfully, this was a righteous man.
Go ahead.
Verse 20. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions.
At this point, stop giving acknowledgement to our power if you're not going to worship him. So, please, because you... Go ahead.
Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God hath sent his angel, and hath shut the lions' mouths.
Who's God?
My God
Okay.
hath sent his angel, and hath shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me, for as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Then the king was exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take up Daniel out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God.
And who's God?
Because he believed in his God.
No matter what the pressure is. These men of old went through hell. They still didn't fold. We got little car problems. A little bit of backed up on payments, negative balances in our bank account. We start folding and cursing God out. Cursing ourselves. This man was in the den of lions, was almost killed, and falsely accused. And he still stood 10 toes down for his Lord and Creator. Go ahead, bro.
And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives.
You know how much people that is? Go ahead. Jesus
And the
Christ.
lions had the mastery of them, and break all their bones in pieces, or ever that they came at the bottom of the den.
That's insane. Go ahead.
Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom, men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God and steadfast forever, and his kingdom, that which shall never be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end.
Now, this is another king that has gave peace to Daniel and to the children of the captives at this particular time. You have something?
Yeah, I was going to say Esther. Your time of Esther.
Now, this, you guys all said that this is Darius the second, right? Let me see. The second. Who's Darius the second known in history as? Because by name only, all they are wrong. This isn't the Darius and Esther.
But that title name was not sort
Of this day.
I'm saying the Persian name.
Oh yeah. But they don't know that. They thought it was they think it's the king of Persia. This is not Darius of Esther. This is the first Darius. Darius the Great and Darius the Mede are two different people. There's a Darius, then there's a Cyrus, then there's a Darius the Great that everybody knows. There's three Dariuses. Darius, by title, is nothing more than a name, and he had a province in this particular time period. And there's not too much history on this Darius the first. Darius the second is who everybody commonly knows. So we're clear. But nah. There we go. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 27, he delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who had delivered Daniel from the power of the lions.
That's right.
So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian.
Who came after Cyrus the Persian in rulership? Anybody know, historically speaking? Not reteach it, they don't know this.
Y'all remember Shadrach?
Barak gave a timeline of kings and chronicles of each king. He also gave kings of the Persians and of the Medes. We have a university that highlights history. Alexander, nope, Apaya, nope. Because there was a 170-year gap after Cyrus reigns and stops reigning, up until when Greece comes in power. So who's the king after Cyrus, y'all? I gave y'all the answer already. Which one?
Second.
The son of Cyrus.
Yep. In context, in Daniel's 1, the last verse of Daniel's 1, what did it say? Daniel prospered into the first year of Cyrus, right? It's saying right here Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Chronologically speaking, he was in both Darius and Cyrus's reign. So after Cyrus, there would have to be, according to history, another Darius. That is commonly known, which would be the second, aka Barak.
That's Darius Astapsis. That's who Quran just put inside the chat.
Chapter 7, Barak.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters.
So now, he got his reign. You pretty much have the ending years of his life concerning chapter 6, verse 28. But now it's recollecting his dreams and visions of what he saw. Right? Go ahead.
Daniel spake and said, I saw my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea.
Mm-hmm.
And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
Now, go ahead.
Verse 4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings.
You can pick the next slide up. You can show the next slide and blow that up for them. The lion would represent the Babylonian Empire. Nabopolassar was a spearhead of the Babylonian Empire, but I wrote the historical part of Nebuchadnezzar's life only because 20 years before Nebuchadnezzar took reign and rulership, Nabopolassar was a forerunner of the Babylonian era. So I'm going to read this off to you guys because I also have it on my phone. Thank God for Esau's wicked devices, right? Because it could be an aid to us. It says the empire that reigned from 606 BC all the way to 539 BC, which was ruled by King Nebuchadnezzar in 605 to 561 BC, ruling over the children of Israel, being represented as a lion with eagle's wings. He is known for being the greatest king of Chaldean history. If you guys look at the picture, right? Remember, when he took them captive, he made them learn what? The Chaldean language. Look what it looks. Don't it look like paleo?
Zoom in on that. I mean, yeah, from
If you could zoom in, if it's possible to zoom in.
I'll put the laptop at full screen. No, it definitely does. Yeah.
Doesn't that look like paleo?
God.
Y'all see the watch right there. Y'all see the box. That's the
Now, when we came over here from the west coast of Africa, what was we told to learn or beat into learning? English. French, Spanish. I'm going to keep reading. He is known for being the greatest king of Chaldean history. Nebuchadnezzar II was the eldest son and successor of Nabopolassar, who I just mentioned, the founder of the Chaldean Empire. Conquering Syria and Palestine, he destroyed the Temple of Jerusalem and initiated his practices on the children of Israel, being eating the king's meat, servicing the golden statue, so on and so forth, right? It was claimed that he gave orders for the protection of Jeremiah. Who has his precept? Rock, be quiet. Where is his precept? That he ordered for the claim of the protection of Jeremiah the prophet. Where is the precept? Chat can answer, and anybody in here can answer.
Jeremiah 39.
Read it.
This is Jeremiah chapter 39, verse 11. Now Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, gave charge concerning Jeremiah to Nebuzaradan, Adon, the captain of the guard, saying, take him and look well to him, and do him no harm.
See that?
But do unto him even as he shall say unto thee.
Now, there you have that account of the protection of Jeremiah, right? That's Jeremiah 39 and 11. And he was regarded as God's appointed instrument, whom it was impiety to disobey. And the prophet Ezekiel expressed a similar view at the attack on Tyre. What Ezekiel chapter is that? Because we just went over it.
Yeah. One second.
We just went over this, y'all. Remember the siege of Tyre?
Isn't that Ezekiel 27?
Ezekiel 27. Remember the siege of Tyre? One more account I need from y'all. A corresponding attitude to Nebuchadnezzar. This is 3 prophets now. 3 prophets out of this Bible that is given account to Nebuchadnezzar's reign and the profound accuracy. A corresponding attitude to Nebuchadnezzar as God's instrument against wrongdoers occurs in the Apocrypha in 1st Ezra. Verse what, y'all? First Ezra chapter 39. I mean, verse 39. Read it, whoever got it. First Ezra chapter 1, verse 39.
First Ezra chapter 1 and verse 39.
Go ahead.
25 years old was Joachim when he was made king in the land of Judah and Jerusalem, Judea and Jerusalem, and he did evil before the Lord. Wherefore against him Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon came up and bound him with a chain of brass and carried him unto Babylon.
Is this not what Daniel recorded in the very first verse? Ezekiel gave the account of Zedekiah. Zedekiah's account was more ruthless, what they did to him. But here you have an account in First Ezra of what Nebuchadnezzar did to Joachim. Brock, keep reading Daniels. So you can keep that. I'm gonna blow it up so they can see. I don't have that much writing in each slide so that they could get a brief synopsis of each and study on their own timing what each beast represents and times where they were implemented more than once. Go ahead, Brock.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and the man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear.
Stop. Apayak, next slide, please. Go ahead.
And it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, arise and devour much flesh.
That's not what's on my screen now, Apayak. Hold on. I have information on that slide. Give me 1 second. Apayak, you should see my keynote. I have it shared with you. If you could pull that up as well. I sent it to you. Oh, there it is right there. I was about to say, what the hell? You saw it. You getting upset. This information coming out. So the bear would be Darius and Cyrus, the Great, the actual Great. From 550 all the way to 529 BC. He was a king, and when he had passed, when Cyrus passed, Darius the Great came under his steed and rose to be king from this particular time period. So you have Darius, Cyrus, Darius. Just so we're clear. Cyrus began as a military leader and began in earnest 550 BCE when he rose up against his Median overlord king Astyages, which would be in history his quote-unquote grandfather. Right? Cyrus led other campaigns during his reign, such as his conquest of Lydia and Babylonian in 539 BC. And the Medo-Persian Empire lasted up until 333 BC. Barak, if you have anything you want to add to that particular part.
So, when all of you guys are reading, particularly that this Cyrus was reigning with Darius, Darius is particularly a throne name and applied to us as we interpret it as the kings who are on the throne, respectfully given to them as authoritativeness pertaining to who they are.
Right.
But these particular kings have actual real names or particularly surnames that separate themselves as opposed to the names being a title, but also to the fact of who it is that they really are according to secular history.
Right.
So to separate Darius the Mede and Darius the Great, they are very much two different figures, though they have the same throne or title name. If all of you remember from Panah's class about Zechariah, and his name is even mentioned inside the book of Ezra, that Darius is Darius the Great. I'm going to write the dates on the board. We read from 522 to 486 BC. Particularly according to secular history, the Darius the Mede was an actual living person, and the Greek writer Xenophon documented and wrote about who he was because he was a kinsman to Cyrus. His name, according to secular history, I'm also going to put on the board, is Cyaxares II. So Darius the Mede and Darius the Great are not just two different people. It's important that when you read it, particularly pertaining to Persian captivity and these royal throne names that these kings are given, they're titles, but linguistically, they're also applied so that we respect them because they are kings on their thrones.
Right.
Though they are, according to history, they're real people. We just apply these throne names to them, even though they have separate names, identifying them from the biblical point of view to the non-biblical.
And that's why it's important. The biblical point of view calls these, they don't have no value to the Lord, other than when they're being used as a beating stick.
Right.
So you're going to see Darius. And sometimes as a reader, if you don't read every word carefully, you're going to automatically assume that the same name here is applicable to the same name in another area, and it's not. There's three Dariuses, and I just gave y'all the last hint of proving that the Medo-Persian Empire lasted up until 333 BC, which means you still have a gap of explaining the end of Cyrus's reign all the way to 333 BC. You have Cambyses II, you have Cambyses, you have Darius II, which would be quote unquote Darius the Great, and the kings that led all the way up to the point of where Alexander the Great took rulership. So Barak right now is writing the names. If you guys, when you guys see this, he's gonna take a picture of it. Well, not take a picture of it. If anyone of you, yeah. So it'll be put in the chat for you guys to see. So now, Asada, I need you. What verse are we on, Barak?
We're on verse 5.
Verse 5. So everybody understands that. Brock's about to throw it in the live chat now, so y'all understand. Y'all understand that? Wait for Brock to load it all in. Guys, you can read out verse 6 for me, please.
Daniel chapter 7 and 6.
I'll play out. Next slide, please. Go ahead.
After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
No, hold that. So, Brock put in the chat the difference between these individuals. So y'all know. Screenshot it, save it before I blow up the screen and show you guys the next slide.
The Stopsies is just a surname, like your last name. That's what separates the two.
Right.
And the point of him emphasizing it so that when you read it, you don't get confused because you'll read this name here and then you'll read it somewhere else and then think they're the same person.
If everybody got it, I'm going to blow up the screen so I can read to you guys the next slide. So the next slide would be the leopard with 4 wings and 4 heads, which would be Alexander the Great, son of Philip the Macedonian, who overthrew the Persian Empire through his rulership. I didn't give too much historical aspect on Alexander the Homo because, number one, he's a homosexual. Number two, I don't give our enemies too much praise or glory and what they've done to the children of Israel, other than Esau, because he's a worthy adversary in this particular time period. And I cannot wait till we have our boots on top of his neck. So, right, it says his rulership expanded from Macedonia to Egypt. Y'all know how huge that is. And from Greece to parts of India. And at this time period, the Hellenistic culture, this is very important. The Hellenistic culture was widely spread at this particular time. Y'all know what that means?
Yes.
I think it's pretty much war. It's pretty much stubble at this point. There was an understanding at a time to where Romans and Gentiles, who were actually Romans and Gentiles, were counted as the whole world in context of John 3:16. That's not what that is. Those were Hellenized Jews. There's always Hellenized Jews. Yashiyah. So now, which was their beliefs and statutes at the time period. He ruled 12 years up until when he died, and his generals, known as the Diadoches, 4 generals, divided his conquered lands amongst themselves. You have Cassanders, Ptolemy, Antigonus, and Seleucus, which were his successors. When you look up, ironically enough, how the Bible beautifully illustrates these men. If you look up Seleucus' helmet, did y'all know that there's leopard skin on his helmet? When you look up Alexander, when he rides on a horse, he has cheetah skin on his horse. Let's just read the count of these men. Huh? First Maccabees. Let's get this. Want to start from, so keep in mind he reigned for about 12 years, right? Let's start from verse 2. As a matter of fact, verse 1.
First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened that Alexander the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chechon, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him.
Quiet.
Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations, and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years, then he died.
But
And his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death they all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
and that is their reign of multiple evils after they put crowns upon themselves and traveled north, west, east, and south, and conquered lands right after Alexander the Great, right? There it is. So now, go ahead.
So when Alexander was alive conquering and his army was going like throughout most of the world, taking down all the Persian strongholds, what we read about in Maccabees pertaining to the forceful Hellenistic conversion over to Greek customs and culture, the Greeks everywhere they went when Alexander was conquering brought their way of life and living with them everywhere they went. So they lived as Greeks no matter what part of the empire that they were in. Like just because they were no longer in Greece, they never stopped being Greeks.
Right. And that's through his four generals as well. Passed on the same things and customs. Where are we at in Daniel's? Daniel chapter verse 6. Verse 6, right? Okay, go to verse 7.
Daniel 7:7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth, and it devoured the break in pieces,
Next slide up there.
and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns.
Now, that is not the beast of what we're reading. However, I grabbed that picture specifically because of the metal breakdown I showed y'all and told y'all. Somewhat of the similarities of each kingdom and nation and nations and kindreds and tongues that was passed down all the way up to the point of where Julius Caesar was in rulership was implemented into that beast, which made it that one head. Now, literally, if you look at the beast, and I'll blow up this picture, the beast has 10 horns. If you count each horn, it's 10. So now, this is not
No.
if you can minimize it, there you go. There. So now, this is not the beast from Revelation. Historically speaking, this is Rome. But in reference to Revelations 13, it is that same beast. How is it that same beast? One precept should cling in your brain. As a matter of fact, it's the same beast in referencing the similarities, but it's not the same beast.
Is it?
Can anybody tell me why? It's the same beast in referencing its characteristics, mentality, and what it upholds concerning the Hellenization of our people in this day and age, the converting of souls and turning them into their natural lust, so on and so forth, and its largest influence or large influx of homosexuality, unlawfulness on this present day age, but it's not the same beast. Could y'all tell me why? Contextually wise, can y'all tell me why?
That kingdom had fallen.
Could y'all tell me why? Chat, y'all can answer. Could y'all tell me why? Contextually, why it's not the same beast?
Was it the one that was wounded and came back?
Yeah. Like the power has been transferred.
Y'all missing the greatest part of this beast. To show that it's not the same beast. One precept. Anybody in the chat know why this isn't the same beast? I gave y'all.
Because of the mark? No.
Can anybody in the chat tell me contextually why this isn't the same beast? We're not because of its actual appearance or what it has. Why isn't this the same beast? I'll give y'all one hint. It's in the paragraph. I'll give y'all 30 seconds. Y'all gotta know it. Y'all have to know why it's not the same beast. And we talked about it earlier. Somewhat different nations. Nope.
You see why I said what I said about that?
You wouldn't even got it.
I found that shit up. You heard me telling myself about it the other day. Yes.
Y'all ready? Where was Christ crucified at? Where was Christ crucified? Huh?
Not right.
What city? What captivity?
Roman.
What does the precept in Revelation say?
Revelation 13:3.
What does it say?
Now
Rock,
so-
read it.
This is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified.
Now y'all understand why it's not the same beast. However, do any of y'all understand why that precept was pulled? In the chat. I hear this precept being pulled a lot to paraphrase. Babylon is America, this, that, third. But it's crickets when I'm asking this question. Why did I pull that precept? I gotta give everybody a chance out by that. we understand that Manhawad. We understand that in the references of Revelation 11, the references of Revelation 13, is to be used as a historical reference to show similarities of the same kingdom arising again. However, it is a different beast because physically, and you guys missed the part where it said spiritually called Sodom and Gomorrah. Physically, it is not the same beast because our Lord was crucified in Rome. Is that understood? And then contextually, this beast has one head and 10 horns. And I'm going to go into the 10 horns. The beast in Revelation is a whole nother beast. But they both meet the same demise. Go ahead, Barak. Well, let me read. Now I can read. Yes, you was. Yes, you was, Ak. Tazaria is on to something. One Hawad is on to. Yes, y'all both are correct. Go ahead, Masha.
So when you said it's like because we know that you're practically saying like it's the beast, but it dies, but then it's the spirit of it kind of continues. I don't know.
I didn't say that. What you want? You want something?
Because I know that Daniel prophetically is talking about Rome, but Rome doesn't exist no more. But the extent of it is still going on. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't. That's the best way I could explain.
Yeah, somewhere. I'm trying. You might be. Hold on. You might be onto something, Marsha. I'm gonna hold you. Stick with. Follow me now. You onto something. So now, I'm gonna read this brief abstract of what I wrote down so far. Right? It's a divided kingdom and it's a mixed multitude of powers. Julius Caesar, being the ruler of Rome, kicked off the next captivity at this particular time period after the Grecians.
Oh, yo, the alloys. Okay, yeah, I see what you did. I see.
So now, Augustus and Tiberius and his governor Pontius Pilate ordered the execution of Christ.
That's right. No.
This empire became so big that it became the Western and Eastern Empire, and in time becoming the Byzantine Empire on the eastern side before they were conquered by the Ottoman Turks. How much y'all been paying attention to history? Did y'all know that the 10 horns represent the 10 kingdoms, right? What kingdoms?
The leading powers that would be
European king.
I want to tell you the list.
Did y'all know that at the time period that these kingdoms and powers will split and divide itself into 10 kingdoms, literally? Y'all see how accurate the Bible is? Insanely accurate. Not that we need to prove its accuracy, but to just give light to the actual history behind the things that we're reading. When you teach somebody this, it is important you understand the history behind it. And teach and give them, because they already have the image of a beast. You tell somebody what a beast is, and you explain to them its nature and power, and its horn representing kingdoms, and you break down the historical aspect of the kingdoms. You explain to them that in a time period, Greece was split into 2 kingdoms first, the western and eastern side. And then in time, the eastern side became the Byzantine Empire. And in time, whether it be both sides or one side, there's time in history where it's accounted as 10 divided kingdoms. 10. And they even have dukes of Esau in history.
Crest and all.
You cannot make that up. So now, you have modern day EU, modern day NATO, you have modern day, all these copycats, Democratic, Republican, so on and so forth, right? All that other nonsense that they try to remix today to confuse you from where they originally came from. So now, Diocletian in 300 BC split the kingdom in 2. I want y'all to remember that. And in splitting it, he made sure that in splitting, it tried to be as stabilized as possible. Because remember, it was a mixed multitude, multiple parties. They was getting ambushed. Study the history of Rome. Besides us being the gladiators and everything else, Rome was falling apart because of the things that it practiced. What's happening today, y'all? Same thing. Which is why that beast then and who he is now is going to meet the same demise. Are the beasts clear?
Come.
Y'all understand the metals alloyed reference I made now?
Right.
I understand the picture, the data, and everything else. So let's read verse 8.
Daniel 7 and 8. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there was 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and hair of his head was like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
You know who that is. Go ahead.
A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened.
Who opened that book? Who's the only one who opened that book, y'all? Brock, grab that precept from me, sir. Not the books. What I called it.
Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
Christ says, "Is not my words like unto a fire?" Jump back to Daniel's. So now y'all see the same repetitive nature of this beast in this context as well. Just as much as you've seen them same men who accused Daniel, you're now seeing the same repetitive nature of this beast speaking out and against the Most High and his people. Go ahead, Barak. Kasaja.
Daniel 7:11. I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, and I beheld even till the beast was slain.
Because it died in his pride. Go ahead.
And his body destroyed and given to the burning flame.
Get me Revelations 19, verse 20.
Revelation chapter 19 and verse 20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone.
It happened then, it's going to happen now. That's why you see you could cross-reference Revelations with Daniel's. Because the same judgment happened. Go ahead. Verse 12.
Verse 12. As concerning the rest of the beast, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. I saw in the night visions, and beheld one like unto the Son of Man, came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory, and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
Go ahead.
I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled
I
me.
would too. You know how much vision I've seen? Go ahead.
I came near unto one of them that stood by.
Where is he at where he see? Yeah, did y'all just read that? Where is he at where he's speaking to the individuals in his night visions? Or even if he's not in the night vision, where is he at? Where he's asking the interpretation of what he's looking at. Read that again from the top. I don't think they got that. Read it again.
I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this.
Who are you talking to? No, he's not. He's looking at Yahusha. Who is he talking to? That stood by. Remember, he's watching. Go ahead. Remember, he was the only one that was granted the ability of interpreting visions and dreams, and the blessing. Go ahead.
I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of these things, of the things. The great beast which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Then I would know the truth of the four beasts, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet.
It could be both, Yashar. Depending on historical pieces of literature, like you have the Pope, you have literally Satan being the prince of foul air. You have him also being the lion seeking who he may devour. You have a couple of examples. Could be both. Go ahead, Bazar.
Verse 20.
Because then it gets into the contents of who else. Remember, those who accepted the mark of the beast, so on and so forth. Go ahead.
And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows, I beheld in the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them.
When did they prevail against them? Oh, shit. When did they prevail against them?
70 AD.
You said what, bro?
70 AD.
Loud.
That's 70 AD. Snare prophesied destruction. Siege. I get why he had trouble. Like he prophesied so much that he didn't even live to see.
Go ahead.
Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
I know what that time period is, right? Go ahead.
But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey them. Here too is the end of the matter.
So it's a recurring theme where in their pride they fall. Daniel and his visionaries has given us 4 captivities that have been stretched, copied, and pasted throughout the course of history. For us to understand at this very time, Revelation 13 is all of those beasts fused together to where it has 7 heads, 10 horns, and 10 crowns.
It's like Power Rangers.
In a sense, I know what you're trying to say.
Final season.
Yeah, then they get bigger. Yep. So now, in the time, and in this particular time, this beast has multiplied its heads, its horns, and now is boastful in its action. And even as it being a beast, it's also called the whore. It's called the whore. It's a beast, a dragon. All these are representations of this particular, I don't even know what to call it, because it's a whore, it's a beast, it's a dragon, it's an old serpent.
Hybrid.
A hybrid is a good term.
It's an it.
Yeah.
Pronouns now.
And in
right?
terms of its power and leadership, even to this day, its pride is going to be its destruction. And it's our time to wake everybody around us out of sleep and wake them up to who they are before the Most High returns. Because the Lord is returning in that same like manner that we just read, with fire. He used Sodom and Gomorrah as an example, and that heat, I just looked over and studied it again, that heat still, to this day, if you light a match to that, it'll light on fire. Still 98% sulfur. That is everlasting fire. So imagine what he's returning with in full capacity. So the whore sat on the beast. What does it mean when it says the whore sat on the beast? Give me the scripture, Yashiyah.
Yeah, Revelation chapter 13 and verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
No, that's not the one. Revelation 13. What does it mean when it says the whore sat on the beast? 17. Come on, 17.
Revelation chapter 17 and verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
That's the same beast that's being spoken of in Revelation 13. And if you read throughout Revelation 17, that beast was inheriting the spirit of the beast that I was speaking about in the first part of the context. So Revelation 17, as she's sitting on this beast, that can mean that she's inheriting what she's riding that beast on. Like, if the spirit of this beast was lust, fornication, so on and so forth, she would inherently be part of whatever that beast was representing.
Well, then you got to look at verse 5 too. You got to read verse 5, bro. Verse 5 says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, abomination of the earth.
Sat on the beast as they're making it her throne. she became consumed.
If she has power and sitting on the beast and using the beast as a guide map to how she maneuvers, you have to remember the actions of what the beast was and how it maneuvers on the earth. And if she has the authority to sit on top of it, what does that mean to you? That she has the ability to use that very same power that the beast once had to maneuver around this earth and police the earth according to what she wants to do. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon.
This is Isaiah 47. It's one of my favorite chapters because it speaks to the destruction of Babylon. Go ahead.
Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
The beast was her firepower, her financial banking system, everything that would aid her in policing the world according to what she wanted to do. So, where did this question come from? Put it on. So there's American control. I can see it. Not just the influence. Not just the influence, Brody. She has much. It's a system. It's everything concerning what could be the mark. It could be the financial institutions.
Goes into NATO too.
Huh?
So it goes into NATO too. NATO spirit by America.
Right, but we want to speak towards the woman and her riding on top of the beast so they can join to one another. If she has ability, and if you have the, it's like the relationship with what would be, let's see, you have Indians with tigers or individuals who have untamed animals, but in a sense tamed. They have the ability to maneuver or have a relationship with the animal or beast to their liking and have them do what they want, feed, so on and so forth.
Right.
Absolutely. But it's not just the influence. And you want to explain the woman being Babylon first before you immediately jump to it being America. You know what I'm saying? If you go out and teach this, you say Babylon is America, you kind of, and that's why I sort of formatted the class in the way I formatted it, because when you teach terms like Babylon, the beast, the bear, so on and so forth, you want to give the historical, you want to give the historical recollective of what it once was and why it's being termed as that and being coined as that in history so that the hearer understands completely, you know. So if y'all got any more questions, then I'll close out there. I'm glad that's clear, and hopefully everything else will go ahead, bro.
Just to add to the book of Daniel itself, Daniel historically is so controversial to scholars that they didn't even write his works or his book in the Babylonian period. They argued and literally theologians that just come to the conclusion his prophecies were so on point and so infallible to the degree that he had to have concluded, or his works had to have been written in the Maccabean era, which is roughly 400 to 300 years later, because of how on point his prophecies were. Like they deduced that it was made up and someone just came to some historical fiction concerning this book because of how valid all of his prophecies are.
No spirit.
They're not. It's too anal, bro. Like you cannot miss it.
They can't argue why this man prophesied and lived the things that he didn't even live to see, but everything he said was on point. Everything.
They gotta explain Ezekiel. They gotta explain Ezekiel and instruction Tyree Zidon, Nebuchadnezzar besieging Jerusalem. Nebuchadnezzar literally came with fire, and Ezekiel parted his hair to show and burn one part of his hair and be a physical embodiment of slavery.
Laid on his side.
Laid on his side.
Laid
Like
on
his
his side.
prophets are old or different and glorious men.
Done? Yeah, they went how done.
Any questions? Y'all good in the class?
I appreciate the historical alignment with the scriptures, man.
Who's the third beast, huh?
Huh?
Who's the third beast?
You know what third beast. Yo, play for now. Play for now.
All right, let's rise and face the east.
This is Psalm chapter 119. Zion. Remember the word unto thy servant upon which thou hast caused me to hope. This is my comfort in my affliction, for thy word hath quickened me. The proud have had me greatly in derision, yet have I not declined from thy law. I remember thy judgments of old, O Lord, and have comforted myself. Horror hath taken hold upon me because of the wicked that forsake thy law. Thy statutes have been songs in the house of my pilgrimage. I have remembered thy name, O Lord, in the night, and have kept thy law. This I had because I kept thy precepts. In the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the one from Yad, Amen.
Amen.
Amajim Shabbat. Amajim. Barak.
Yahweh Shem Yah Shadrach.
Yahweh Shem Yah Shadrach.